tax.
Would you reverse them?
I think that at the moment, cutting at a time where we need those services and people need those services is the wrong decision to make.
But I'm asking you, would you reverse the cut in corporation tax?
But I'm telling you, Andrew, that our priority is
you're not telling me the question.
I am.
I'm
saying that the cuts in corporation tax, the cuts in inheritance tax, the cuts in capital gains tax.
But what's the cut in capital gains tax?
But what's really important, Andrew...
No, excuse me, I'm asking you a question. What's the cut in the capital gains tax?
They've cut the capital gains tax. They did that. They did that as part of the coalition government.
No, they raised the capital gains tax in the coalition government.
Well, what I'm saying, Andrew...
Andrew Neil took Angela Rayner to task in a now infamous interview, and it wasn't just the hard questions that caught everyone's attention, it was how she failed to answer them. The exchange left a lasting impression on viewers, sparking discussions about her performance and ability to handle tough scrutiny. Recently, the moment resurfaced, reigniting the debate about Rayner's competence in the public eye. Neil, known for his rigorous interviewing style, didn't let her off easy, further fueling criticism and raising questions about her readiness to address pressing political challenges. "We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you for your incredible support. To celebrate, we're giving away £1,000 to 10 lucky winners, £100 each. Here's how to enter: subscribe to our channel. Like this post. Drop your postcode in the comments. Once we hit 10,000 subscribers, we'll randomly select the winners. Don't miss your chance to be part of the £1,000 giveaway. Start now, and it could be you."
We've got to live within our means. We've got to have this austerity. We've got to cut. You've cut, and do you know what? Debt's rising, and the amount of money that's going into the economy, you know, you've not made it better. Our economy is worse as a result of 6 years of austerity, and now you're saying all of a sudden we can spend money.
No, hold on.
And that's wrong because you're spending it.
You're just off now.
No, I'm
let me bring you back to let me bring you back to the question. Look, you think there may be an election coming up, so you need to get.
Labour's policies, specifically around cutting inheritance tax and corporation tax, were put under the spotlight. Instead of providing a clear response, Rayner dodged the questions, stammered, and fumbled through her answers, offering little in terms of specifics. But why is this a big deal? Simple tax policies are a huge part of any government's agenda. Cutting inheritance tax, for instance, affects how the wealthy pass on their wealth, while corporation tax impacts businesses across the country. When a deputy leader of a major political party can't answer questions about something so fundamental, it raises serious concerns. People began asking, if she can't handle these questions, how can she be trusted with the big decisions?
Able to give them more money by changing the corporation tax and changing the capital gains tax to raise more money.
You don't cut taxes when you need that money to help. You should be investing.
You don't know, do you?
You should be investing.
The interview quickly turned into a viral moment, with many questioning Angela Rayner's readiness to take on such a crucial role. While Andrew Neil's questioning was sharp, what truly stood out was Rayner's inability to keep up with his line of inquiry. This wasn't an isolated stumble, it revealed a pattern that left many wondering why Keir Starmer continues to stand by her. The episode didn't just highlight Rayner's struggles with tough questions, it also exposed deeper concerns about her grasp of Labour's core policies. Angela Rayner found herself in further hot water when she made a bold claim about the last government cutting capital gains tax. The issue? The claim simply wasn't true. In a series of interviews, she repeatedly asserted that the Tory government had reduced the capital gains tax rate. This assertion was so detached from reality that it drew immediate attention from experts, who quickly debunked it, raising even more questions about her credibility and attention to detail.
Very punchy about it because we will build the homes that we desperately need.
You say you're being punchy, but this is not very Angela Rayner. Why can't you just say, look guys, the newts, the black-legged kittiwakes, the bats, you're going to have to take second place to getting houses for people.
Well, I believe we can offset, look after them, but at the same time not stop building.
All right.
Because we can't have a situation where a newt's more protected than people who desperately need housing. What we need is a process which says protect the nature and wildlife, but not at the expense of us building the houses we need. We could do both.
All right, let me ask you...
Capital gains tax is a crucial aspect of the economy, impacting everything from investments to pensions. Angela Rayner's inability to get the basic facts right about such an important issue raised serious concerns about her capability to handle the financial complexities of government. This wasn't a minor error, it was a significant misstep that left her looking uninformed and unprepared. The backlash was immediate, with journalists, political commentators, and even members of her own party questioning her understanding of basic economic policies. Rayner's credibility suffered, leaving many to wonder if she had a solid grasp on any of Labour's financial plans. After all, if she struggled with the details of capital gains tax, how could she be trusted with broader tax policies? Rayner's missteps didn't stop at tax claims. She also faced intense criticism over her ambitious housing proposal. Promising to build 1.5 million homes to address the UK's housing crisis initially sounded impressive. However, when the numbers were scrutinised, the proposal began to unravel. The scrutiny not only exposed flaws in the plan but also deepened doubts about her ability to deliver on Labour's key promises. These repeated blunders painted a troubling picture of her readiness to navigate the complexities of government policy and leadership.
We've spoken to almost every Labour council, including Tameside,
her constituency,
and they have said they are unrealistic and unachievable. So are you going to force their hand?
The entire construction industry, anyone who works in or has worked in construction or housing, planning, anything like that, knows this target is impossible. Councils say it's impossible. The building industry says it's impossible. What's Labour's solution?
To meet those targets?
We are saying that they're mandatory targets and we want mandatory plans, so we're telling them this is what we...
Rayner's figures didn't quite add up. When asked who these homes were intended for, her answers were vague, leaving many to question the specifics of her plan. The reality became apparent: a significant portion of these homes would likely be allocated to immigrants. While the UK's housing shortage is a well-known issue, Rayner's inability to align her ambitious plans with the growing demand for housing added to the confusion. She appeared to overlook the fact that much of this demand is driven by immigration, an issue that has been a focal point in political discourse for years. The situation worsened when Rayner was confronted about these concerns. She dismissed the idea outright, but her own data appeared to contradict her statements.
All right, let me ask you about another element of this. On the present densities, you're going to add 3.4 million, or homes for 3.4 million people with your 1.5 million houses. On your own figures, we're also going to add to our population 2.5 million people over this same period. Are you content that more than 5 out of 7 new homes will go to immigrants?
Well, that's not the truth, and that's not the
That's
case.
what will happen.
Well, that's not the reality, because we've,
where
in
the
particular, in
2.5 million immigrants that are in Rachel Reeve's budget figures going to turn up? Where they're going to live?
Experts highlighted a critical flaw in Angela Rayner's housing proposal. If current immigration trends continued, meeting her ambitious housing targets would be virtually impossible without addressing the growing immigrant population. Her apparent disconnect from the data left many questioning how she could promise such bold plans without fully understanding the demand driving them. This wasn't a minor oversight, it was a glaring failure to grasp the complexities of the housing crisis, further eroding confidence in her ability to deliver meaningful solutions. Rayner's promise to build 1.5 million new homes initially sounded impressive, but the practicalities behind it raised serious doubts. When pressed on how she intended to accomplish such a monumental task, her answers were far from convincing. Building such a massive number of homes is no small undertaking. It requires extensive land, resources, and years of planning. Yet, Rayner seemed to sidestep these significant challenges, including costs, infrastructure requirements, and land availability. Her inability to address these hurdles made her proposal appear more like a political soundbite than a realistic policy.
Can deliver the houses they desperately need.
Deputy Prime Minister, it doesn't quite make sense. You start the interview by telling me that there's a housing crisis. When I remind you that you have said yourselves as a government, we're going to need 2.5 million migrants. Some of them, by the way, people are going to build the houses. Suddenly, there's a lot of housing. Where are these people going to go?
Well, Trevor, first of all, when you say about building as well, the previous government did use migrant labour far too much instead of actually building skills here in the UK. I've announced £140 million for new construction hubs so that we can train people here to deliver those housing. So I don't accept that we're going to bring migrants in for that. We've always said that actually we need to skill our own people up. But equally, we need to build the homes that people...
Her housing claims quickly ran into trouble when experts highlighted the immense challenges facing the UK's housing market. With a shortage of construction workers, rising material costs, and local planning permission hurdles, the feasibility of building 1.5 million new homes seemed questionable. Despite these obstacles, Rayner simply insisted that more houses needed to be built, even though the UK already has a substantial amount of housing stock. This inconsistency left many puzzled. Why promise to build so many new homes if existing housing isn't fully utilised? Furthermore, ambitious housing projects are often plagued by delays and complications, making her plan appear more like a distant aspiration than a concrete solution. The mounting questions cast doubt on whether Rayner truly grasped the scale of the task she was proposing. Angela Rayner's contradictions extended far beyond housing. Her repeated misstatements and vague answers deepened concerns about her credibility and leadership. On one hand, she made grand promises, like building 1.5 million homes, but on the other, she failed to provide the solid facts and strategies needed to back those promises. With each new misstep, her credibility crumbled further, making it increasingly difficult to take her seriously as a leader. For many, Rayner's lofty rhetoric was overshadowed by her apparent lack of preparation and understanding, raising serious doubts about her ability to deliver on any of her ambitious plans.
Just reading. You're supposed to be answering the questions.
They are the questions.
For you to read.
No, they're the bits I've written, actually, in regards to her questions.
What made the situation worse was the silence from her own party. Keir Starmer, Labour's leader, continued to back Angela Rayner despite the mounting concerns about her performance. This raised a larger question: how could Labour hope to regain the public's trust if its deputy leader was repeatedly failing to grasp basic policies? The lack of criticism or corrective action from the party leadership only amplified doubts about its ability to hold itself accountable. Rayner's missteps were not isolated incidents but part of a troubling pattern. From misleading statements about taxes to vague plans on housing and immigration, each mistake highlighted a lack of preparation and understanding. These repeated errors painted a picture of a leader who struggled with the details of critical policies, further eroding confidence in her ability to take on greater responsibilities.
I've worked with so many of them on this. I've had many roundtables, as has the business secretary, and they've very much welcomed the work that we've been doing on making sure that people...
You must be able to name a few, because I can name all the companies, the recruitment companies, Hayes, Manpower, Randstad. They've signed the letter saying this is the wrong approach. You're going to put jobs at risk. Which are the companies that have welcomed your employment rights?
Well, like I say, I've spoke to many companies. We've had many roundtables with them, and we've been discussing it, and they've acknowledged that there has to be a balance. And
as Angela Rayner's mistakes piled up, the message from Labour seemed increasingly muddled. It was no longer just about one individual's errors, it became a reflection of the Labour Party's overall ability to present clear and sensible alternatives to the government. Rayner's ongoing missteps revealed that the party's challenges went beyond a single bad interview or a failed promise. The public began to question whether the Labour Party as a whole was out of touch with the realities and expectations of voters. Rayner's blunders signalled a deeper, more troubling issue within Labour's ranks. When the deputy leader struggled with basic economic policies and made contradictory statements, it cast doubt on the party's credibility. These weren't just personal failings, but symptoms of broader issues in Labour's leadership and direction. Many started questioning whether Keir Starmer and his team truly understood the country's most pressing challenges, leaving voters uncertain about Labour's capacity to lead effectively.
Because our manifesto is fully costed, unlike the Conservatives.
So you are not going to raise capital gains tax?
There is nothing in our manifesto that means we have to raise capital gains tax, no.
But so you can say that you're not going to raise capital gains tax?
She's answered. Penny Mordaunt, thank you very much.
She has, though.
Okay.
Labour will take it to a record high. What they haven't told you in this campaign is what taxes and on what people. Okay. She couldn't deny capital gains tax earlier on.
The Labour Party's message was becoming increasingly unclear with every new misstep. Were they genuinely focused on addressing the housing crisis, or were they merely engaging in the immigration debate without a clear direction? Did they have a robust economic plan, or were they relying on vague promises unsupported by facts? Angela Rayner's repeated errors on these critical issues only deepened the confusion, and Labour's internal struggles were becoming more apparent. The public, naturally, began to take notice. When a party fails to present a coherent, well-thought-out policy agenda, trust begins to erode. For Rayner, Keir Starmer, and the Labour Party as a whole, these recurring failures raised serious questions about their ability to govern effectively. If they couldn't navigate the basics, how could they be entrusted with the significant challenges ahead? Each new mistake made Labour's vision for the future increasingly uncertain, leaving voters to wonder if the party was ready for leadership.
New taxes that Labour are going to bring in.
Absolute rubbish. We've absolutely guaranteed we will not raise taxes for working people in this country.
How are you going to close that gap? £2,000 per working household. Which policies are you going to take out of your...
Angela Rayner's repeated mistakes highlighted deeper issues within the Labour Party. Her missteps on tax policies, housing plans, and contradictory statements left many questioning her competence. The lack of clear and informed answers made it evident that Rayner was struggling to fully understand the party's core policies. What made matters worse was Keir Starmer's unwavering support for her despite these ongoing failures. This not only intensified doubts about Rayner's readiness but also cast a shadow on Starmer's leadership and judgment. The situation left the public wondering about Labour's ability to navigate and address the country's pressing issues effectively.
Has my full support and my full confidence today and every day as we work together to take the Labour Party back.
Labour's credibility took a significant hit, and the public began to question whether they could offer a credible alternative to the government. Until Labour can present clearer and more realistic policies, their future remains uncertain, and trust will continue to erode. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to our channel. You can watch more videos from us here.